welcome back to Blender Social Learning. In this episode, I want to teach you a hacky way to transfer UV map. Alright, so let's just get started. So for example, we have this monkey head, and by default, if we take a look at the UV, so I'm going to edit mode and switch to UV editor. We can see this is the UV, right? Okay, if I duplicate the monkey head, and both of them should have the UV map. If I delete UV map on this guy, this one doesn't have UV map anymore. So if you want to transfer this original UV map, there are two ways. You can do it from here, from the outliner. So you select the one with UV and select the one without UV, and then Command L, copy UV maps, and the UV map should be transferred. Another way is to use a modifier. I'm not gonna do it for now, but anyway, if you want to transfer it using SVerchok, for example, this is how you do it. Go to under SVerchok nodes. Normally I do this whenever I want to duplicate an object using SVerchok, and we create a duplicate using mesh viewer. If we connect these two using V, with Suzanne, for example, okay, get selected, we will have a duplicate of Suzanne without UV maps, because this is like a completely new data. Okay, and in order to transfer the UV, there are a couple of ways. Let me save this. Transfer UV. We need two nodes to do that. First one is UVTexture. So this UVTexture will grab the UV from original Suzanne, and as a result, we can see, if I duplicate this mesh viewer, that's the UV. Okay, but we're not gonna output the UV like that. We want to transfer it, so we need to use a custom UV. Let's see, custom UV. Okay, this one, set custom UV map. So if we take a look at the UV of this Suzanne, we currently it doesn't have UV, so I'm just gonna transfer it first. So the output of these objects gonna get a UV from this mesh data. Now if I select both Suzanne and go to edit mode and go to UV editor, we can see the UV is kind of transferred. Okay, this is pretty interesting. It's not always perfect. I mean, in terms of scaling, sometimes we need to scale it. This is why I say this. It's a little bit hacky, but sometimes you actually want to do this. And this actually sometimes works if you have like a different topology. There is another add-on called mesh data transfer or something. It's doing the same thing, but I want to show it to you using SVerchok anyway. And sometimes we need to scale it until it's kind of correct. Now this guy have a UV map called SV map, and it's copied from the original. So if we try to test the UV very quickly, I'm gonna get something from Dropbox. Suzanne Dream UV Suzanne. So this is a Suzanne texture, for example. Just gonna apply this. So we have UV there. If I select this and select this, Command L, we can link the materials. Now if we take a look at the UV, editor of this guy, we can still modify it on the fly using SVerchok. Okay, so yeah, that's a way to do it. But why do we need something like this? For example, if we have like a character like this. Okay, this is Sprite, Sprite character from Blender Studio. And okay, this is the character already in pose, which is pretty cool. I can actually transfer the UV using SVerchok. Okay, I will show you in a minute. I just want to play around with this first. Okay, the character. Okay, we can apply the character using the pose library. For example, we like this pose. And okay, yeah, okay, sometimes the hand doesn't work. Could be a bug, but still pretty good that we have the pose library. Anyway, yeah, let's say I like this pose, or actually just the angry one. And you know, like disgusted face, like very angry. This is the eye control. Maybe at some point I make another video just to play around with this character because I really like it. So let's say we like this and we go back to object mode and we want to just export this character to be used as AR. Okay, this character, for each mesh, it has a lot of armature. This is all the modifier of this character, data transfer, so many things going on for each mesh, right? Because it's being deformed by a lot of things. A quick way, select, this is also a very hacky way. I don't know if anyone else doing this. Maybe there's another way to do this, but anyway, I just move this into collections. I just want to bake it out so I can print it out. So I just select all the mesh that I think related to this character and then move it to the collections, right? So I can easily select them whenever I need it. And now I can append the UV transfer node that we just created. So we look at the SVerchok. Okay, right, we have all this set up. Here's the thing, one thing, I think UVTexture or one of these nodes doesn't work with multiple objects, but still pretty useful because we can turn on pause, get all the selected objects, and it will actually magically transfer. Okay, everything baked beautifully. The texture, however, only grabbed the first one. So that's the only thing. So in order to do this, if you just want to export this out, you know, like just for print out, you don't need the UV, but if you want the UV properly for each objects, you need to kind of do it manually. And you also need to scale the UV somehow, which is a pity, but still better than nothing. You need to scale this somehow. I don't know why. Let's say, okay, we have this mushroom part, for example. Let's actually get rid of the copy. Okay, another way, you can try to transfer the UV manually. So let's say you have this one is the one with UV. This one we want to transfer, right? Select this, select that, and then just Command L, copy UV. That's probably gonna work. that's the arm. Yeah, that's the arm as well. It works. Not all of them will work. Actually, the head might not work. So, quick one. Get rid of this. Select our leg. Command click. Copy UV. Okay, now this guy have UV. The head might not work. Yeah, it has a different loop. So let me save this very quickly. It's very hacky, but it might work. So select this head, get selection. We have the new head. Everything else disappear. This new head actually have UV, which is really weird. And it actually doesn't care about the number. It's just, I mean, okay, that's a thing. That number seems to be working. Oh, no. 0.0342. Anyway, you need to make sure they are aligned, and then you get the UV. Yeah, something like that. 3.412. Pretty interesting number. So we have a new duplicates. Everything's correctly transferred UV wise, and yep, we have duplicates. So like I said, the whole thing is a little bit hacky, but it works. Okay, so there you go. If you want to see the character, let's render this using cycles. It takes a while to calculate. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe this is, I'm using Blender 3.11. Cycles. GPU, okay, CPU. CPU sometimes faster on the Mac, I don't know why. Anyway, the UV should be transferred correctly. And then you need to do the baking. If you want to properly turn this into AR, so there's a few steps, but this is one hacky ways you can transfer UV using SVerchok. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.